You're reading an article, you find a citation to check, you click the link, and hit a dead end. The dreaded 404 error. We operate under the assumption that whatever we put online lives forever. However, that sense of permanence is an illusion. Beneath the surface, the web is quietly rotting away. This chart tracks the survival rate of web pages published over the last decade. Looking at the steep drop-off for pages created in 2013, 38% of those links are completely gone today. They don't exist anywhere on the live web. The internet functions like a rushing river. Without a permanent foundation, our collective digital memory constantly washes away downstream. A broken link on a lifestyle blog is a minor inconvenience, but this decay spreads into the institutions that govern our society. Researchers recently reviewed thousands of official United States Supreme Court opinions from the last few decades. They found that more than half of the hyperlinks embedded in those rulings, the evidence used to shape American law, now lead to blank pages. Scientific research faces the same erosion. Millions of peer-reviewed medical papers and physics journals rely on digital citations. When those links break, the data verifying those breakthroughs evaporates. Losing these legal precedents and scientific data points creates a massive gap in our institutional memory. If the links to our primary evidence disappear, we lose the ability to verify the facts that define our era. To understand why this erasure happens, we have to look at the anatomy of a single web page. Let's trace the mechanics of keeping an article published 5 years ago alive today. Every link depends on a hierarchy. First, domain registration, paying to own the address. Next, DNS routing, a directory connecting that address to the content, requiring constant maintenance. Finally, physical server stays, hard drives spinning in a data center, pulling electricity to keep files accessible. A working link is a fragile assembly of these 3 separate, privately owned systems. All of them must stay perfectly aligned 24 hours a day, or the link fails. The architecture of the web relies on total decentralization. Anyone can set up a server and publish a page without asking for permission. This makes sharing information easy, but it makes archiving that same information incredibly difficult. Bits of data are actively deleted when the financial incentive to keep a server running disappears. When the funding stops, the data is evicted. Erasure usually happens through mundane failures. A startup runs out of capital, a blog changes its URL, or a credit card simply expires. The moment a webmaster fails to renew their $15 annual fee, the physical hardware cuts power to the directory, and the content vanishes. Because no central authority is required to publish information, the system ensures that no central authority is responsible for maintaining it. We have to adjust our understanding of digital memory. In the modern era, the default state of data is deletion. Storing terabytes of text and video for decades requires a massive, uninterrupted flow of electricity and capital. It is an expensive, physical commitment. A physical book sitting on a dry shelf can outlive its author by centuries without any intervention. Conversely, a digital file will vanish in months if someone isn't continuously paying the server bill and migrating the data to new hardware. Our digital history only survives because a few dedicated groups are actively swimming against this natural tide of decay. The most prominent group doing this work is a nonprofit called the Internet Archive. Operating out of this building in San Francisco, they serve as the primary defense against digital amnesia. Through their Wayback Machine, they constantly crawl the web, downloading and storing snapshots of millions of web pages every single day. They are attempting to back up our history in real time. Preserving the web requires us to view it as a living ecosystem rather than a permanent monument. The internet requires active, intentional tending. Without that effort, the records of our lives will be quickly reclaimed by the digital weeds.